Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Trombone First Aid. Today we are talking about the second movement of the Rimskij-Korsakov Trombone Concerto. As I already said in some other previous videos, the first thing you should do when you practice a piece is to read what is written first, without the instrument. Just read the notes, read what is written, like tempo marking or indication of every kind, so you can figure out how to give your interpretation. The first thing we notice at the beginning of this piece is the Andante cantabile marking. Andante cantabile means walking and singing, so we can already have an idea about how is the mood and the tempo of this piece. So it has to be calm, but still going, and singing with a vocal characteristic. So I would prefer longer phrases rather than rhythmical patterns and give a very warm sound. Then we have also espressivo. Espressivo means everything and anything. So what can we do is just to think what we want to express. So we have to give a message, an extra message, rather than what is just written. So we can play a bit with rubato, we can play a bit with colors, we can interpret the articulation in a way that we can express our ideas. So this said, we can just go to the articulation. We see a bunch of different marking. Legato, legato with dashes, legato, staccato, staccato. So here the differentiation has anyway a link to what we did in the first movement, but in this more cantabile atmosphere. So everything should be more smooth and flattened, so that it is less stressed and less of this military feeling we gave in the first movement. So I would say that the legato has to be very soft and almost portato. The legato with dashes in general means that you should give this note a more extra weight, and then when it's legato staccato, it's a bit like in the first movement, it's still legato but with more clarity in the passage between the notes. So, yet I'm trying to do differences, but not so extreme. And last note on the D flat we played at the end, this is the fifth of the chord. So we have to be careful not to be too low in this last note. All this is within the range of piano, mezzo piano, because this espressivo gives you also the possibility to do something with dynamics. The next phrase, it's very similar to this one, and then we go to a forte passage. So also here, forte should not be loud, should be just in contrast with what we did now. And also the harmony switches to a minor key, and also the feeling could be a bit more excited. So I would say that in this forte part, we add more energy and we speed a little up the tempo. I try to connect with the previous one. So you see, at the end, we do a little ritenuto, we do diminuendo to reconnect to what is coming after, as to say a phrase which is the same at the beginning. So this forte passage is like within brackets and gives more energy to the piece. Very interesting is also the connection between this forte passage and the next, which is coming back to the initial piano soft mood. And then this soft piano evolves in something more energetic, but still in the major key. So here is like more bright, less stress, less dramatic, and opening the way to the stringendo and the cadenza. When we have this more excited part, one way to bring it out is to exaggerate a bit the difference of articulation and dynamic. As opposite as what I said for the beginning, this piano espressivo, where everything is a bit more compact. So the difference between legato and legato staccato is not so big. Now, when we have to give more energy, articulation can help us to bring out this extra energy. Then we have this stringendo part, which is leading to the cadenza. So normally this is kind of ad libitum, so you can play with the tempo and the articulation, but basically I will say we should first stick to what is written. So let's practice what is written, maybe under tempo, but keeping the rhythm and the correlation as they are written by the composer. Then, when you have clear how are the relationship between rhythmical parts, dynamics and articulation, then you can add something. In general, the style of stringendo and cadenza is like pushing and releasing the rhythm. So we can start with accelerando and end with ritenuto in a like a harmonic way. So it has to be related to the succession of notes. You cannot suddenly push the gas and go much faster or brake suddenly. It's much better when you give the listener the possibility to understand where is the next step, where you are going. So you can communicate, and this gives also a good feeling to the listener, which is taking part of this. If you do something very suddenly and something very not related to the rhythmical patterns you have written, then it's kind of changing too much from the original, and also you don't give the listener the possibility to follow what you are doing. So in general, when it's piano, you can also have a release in the tempo, and when it's forte, you can push a bit more. So just follow a bit your instinct, but most important is that you plan this before playing. Because otherwise, while playing, the technical problems or other things can disturb your ideas, and then this is not the best moment to plan what to do. You have to plan everything in advance. So look at this video. So this was just an example of what I would do, and of course you can give different interpretation, but the important thing is to give a message in what you play and to plan in advance what you want to do. Otherwise, in the moment of playing, there is no real time and energy to think about such things. So, especially in this cantabile passages where it's very important also to plan where to breathe. It's important to see where to make a bit ritenuto, where to make a bit accelerando. These things should not be in the moment, should be planned. Otherwise, then is not getting the optimal result. If you have any comment or any request, please write down in the section. And if you like this video, please put thumb up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for listening and watching, and see you maybe in the next episode. Ciao!